5 strategies to implement good habits successfully. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about habits. If you are someone who's looking to achieve your goals by developing good habits, I've listed out some of the techniques I use to stick to new habits that I'm trying to implement. In January 2020, I decided to challenge myself to 31 days of rowing. My motivation to do this was to be healthier, to see if I could stick with it, to use the rowing machine that I have at home. Previous times I tried to stick to this habit, I managed a week before giving up. The reasons why I gave up were the temptation of extra 30 minutes in bed was too tempting, distractions in the morning which disrupted my routine. I kept renegotiating with myself, saying I'll do it later on that day or start again tomorrow, but never did. To improve my chance of sticking to that habit, I read Atomic Habits by James Clear. James Clear provided advice on 4-step habit technique on making habits easier and how tracking habits help improve your ability to stick to it. I took all that advice and this is what I learned. If you're interested in more techniques, tools and hacks for your workflow, please subscribe to my channel. The habit loop. James Clear broke down the habit forming into 4-step process: cue, craving, response and reward. The cue step is the trigger that starts the habit. For rowing, I incorporated it as part of the morning routine. So when I wake up, the first thing I think of is getting changed and working out. The next step is craving. Craving is the motivation behind every habit. When I wake up in the morning, what is the reason I want to row? The reasons I've come up with are: I feel good for the rest of the day. This gives me energy for the workday ahead. I feel healthier long term. This will benefit myself and my family. I have successfully completed a task for the day. This will kickstart my productive mindset. The third step is response. The response is doing of the habit. James Clear believes if there is too much friction in making the habit, then you won't do it. To reduce the friction of doing 20 minutes of rowing every day, I did the following. I put my gym clothes ready to wear when I wake up. So all I had to do was put it on rather than look for it. I have a bottle of water available to drink when I wake up and after the workout. This stops me not working out because I'm thirsty. I had my AirPods nearby with my music list ready to be played. This helps me to get motivated to exercise. The final step is reward. In this step, you should reward yourself for completing the habit. My favourite price would have been a donut, but that is counteractive to the habit I'm trying to form. So I want to do something that will incentivize me and bring me immediate gratification. At the developgoodhabits.com website, they have provided a list of 155 rewards to choose. In the end, I opted for a £3 deposit for my fun fund. Each time I completed a habit, I put £3 aside to buy any gadgets, games or books I wanted. If I completed the 31-day challenge, I would have £93 to spend on anything I wanted. The reward stage could also be a trigger for another habit cue and therefore restarting the loop, which is useful for habit stacking, which I'll talk about later. Habit tracking. James Clear believes that if you can track your habit, the more likely you will stick to it. The reason for this is it reminds you to complete your habit and motivate you to continue. He proposed the best way to do this is part of a journal. I do not journal every day, so I decided to use an app. The best app I found was one called Strides. The features I like about Strides are: it has a simple user interface to help me see my progress. It has templates to help set up different types of habits with different ways to track them. It captures notes on why you couldn't complete the habit. Keeping records proved useful when trying to stop incomplete days. By using Strides every day, it helped motivate me to continue the challenge and ensure I didn't break the chain of completed days. Let us have a look at setting up a habit on Strides. Once the app is open, click on the plus button. Select a template, set the name, set how frequently you want to track it, press the tick to save the tracker. Each time you complete the habit, you can tick the tracker. Over time, it will show you your progress. Routines. The reality of life means waking up and rowing are not the only two things I have to do that day. I have to get clean, get dressed, have breakfast, and get out of the house in time for work. So I needed to make sure rowing was part of my morning routine. I found using Seconds app lets me list out the tasks I have to do in the morning and tells me the tasks I have to do next. The app is primarily for HIIT training, but I found it useful for managing my morning and evening routines. Listing out my morning tasks has proved useful in 3 ways. In the morning, I'm half asleep and fail to remember what morning routine tasks I have to complete, so having something to tell you makes life easier. By following the routine, I avoided being distracted by other activities, such as reading social media or watching YouTube. Setting a timer to tasks ensures I'm sticking to the routine and I have plenty of time to leave the house to get to work on time. Having a good routine made sure that I was able to incorporate rowing into the mornings without having an excuse that I did not have enough time to do it. Habit stacking. To create a good routine, it is a good idea to stack it with other positive habits that you are already doing. Habit stacking suggests linking habits together will compound the benefit you get from it and acts as a cue between habits. So when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is drink a glass of water. This acts as a cue to get changed and row, which acted as a cue to have breakfast. By linking the rowing to an existing habit, it was easier to incorporate rowing into my morning routine. Other things I've learned from habit stacking include it works well when you add one habit at a time and do it for a few weeks successfully before adding another. It works well if you tie it to a habit that you do regularly. You need to make sure the habit is a small habit, so breaking down large habits into smaller repeatable tasks would make the habit stacking more likely. 2-minute rule and 2-day rule. Now I had a plan, tracker and a morning routine, so it's time to execute. As usual, I have a good start. The first few days are easy because I'm highly motivated and full of energy. But after a few days of waking up early when the weather is cold outside, it was a struggle and staying in bed was tempting. So I applied 2 rules from Matt Davella, a popular productivity YouTuber. His first rule was the 2-minute rule. He believes if you tell yourself to do the exercise for just 2 minutes, once you complete the 2 minutes, you find yourself drawn into doing more. You have already done the hard bit, which was waking up, getting changed and sitting on a rowing machine. The second rule was the 2-day rule. Matt explains sometimes we screw up. Sometimes life doesn't know about our goals, challenges and habits. When things don't go according to plan, accept it and don't beat yourself about it. If you miss 1 day of exercise, make sure you don't miss 2. Commit yourself to make sure you do it the next day. Accountability. Another method I used was accountability. I told everyone about the challenge. The benefit of telling people about the challenge was it made the challenge more real. It's not something in my head that I could avoid later on. When I meet friends and family, they ask me how I was doing in my challenge. I didn't want to say I gave up, so I had a bit of peer pressure added to it. It also helped me to validate the challenge before I tell people. Some questions I ask myself are, is the challenge even possible? Is it actionable? Is it clear and concise that I can explain it to someone? And is it time bound? Ensuring I can answer these questions means that it's more likely that I'll be successful. Using all these techniques and tools helped me achieve 28 days of rowing out of the 31 days in January, which is a massive improvement from my previous attempt. I did this by having a plan of implementing the habit using James Clear Habit Loop. I tracked the progress using the Strides app to ensure I see how well I'm doing and motivate myself to continue. I used the Seconds app and habit stacking to create a morning routine that I knew would work. I used the 2-minute rule to keep me going when I wanted to stay in bed and the 2-day rule to keep me going when I missed a day. I used accountability to ensure people knew about my challenge and made me stick to it. Hopefully these tips and techniques will help you implement your systems for habit management. If you're interested in more techniques, tools and hacks for your workflow, please subscribe to my channel. What other tips do you recommend? Let me know via the comments below.